Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, I'll say it. I don't care. It's a hill that I'm prepared to die on. Our Prime Minister, two-tier, never here, Granny Harmer, Farmer Harmer, all that kind of stuff. Keir Starmer, I'll never in a million years call him sir, is a Chinese spy. He is a Chinese spy. And probably a lot of his government are as well. Maybe, I'm not going to turn around and insult the very MPs that probably got the job to better themselves, better the country, because I'm sure there's people like that in every party. But every decision that his leadership has made since getting office, and even before, all points towards beneficiaries of China. And they're not necessarily all the Chinese people, but the Chinese government. And he is a puppet and a spy for said government. I don't care. If you argue with me, give me some facts, give me whatever. But at the end of the day, let's take, for example, I'm not going to get... I could sit here and I could talk about COVID vaccinations, lockdowns, etc., etc., talk about, like how it could be something that affected vulnerable, the elderly, who the Chinese have always tried to get rid of, and maybe the United Kingdom were trying to follow the same suit. I'm not going to get into that business. But let's take, for example, straight away, the Chagos Islands. And I won't go too much into this as well, because I'd recommend going and watching a video on this by Senator Kennedy, and how basically it benefits the Chinese. But long story short, it's a case of he is setting up a contract that is destined to fail. Like, it's unsustainable. There's no way. And this is the thing. Like this, and along with other things, the sad reality of all these policies I'm going to talk about is nobody voted for it. Nobody knew it was coming. All these things were not in the manifesto. And this is where I think democracy does break down. There was all these promises made, this manifesto made, and nothing's been fulfilled. And all these changes that he's made, they weren't in the manifesto. Would we have voted Labour in if we knew they were going to push digital ID? Sell the Chagos Islands? What else? Bloody... I'm trying to think. There's loads of stuff. Loads. The supporting Palestine as an independent state. They're taking away of the heating allowance for pensioners. We wouldn't have voted him in if I didn't vote for him anyway, but people wouldn't have voted for him if they knew, because now look what's happened now. He has got the lowest ratings of any prime minister in history. The party's finished. You've got a massive majority party in our democratic society, and they're all finished. The whole lot, they're finished. They've got no way, shape or form of coming back from this. But yeah, back to the point. So, the Chagos Islands, long story short with that, is the contract is destined to fail, destined to be torn up by the next government. There's not a single government in waiting that supports it. It'll be torn up, and then Mauritius, who will have ownership of the island, has then got treaties with the Chinese that basically means that the Chinese can then go and inspect all of the weapon systems and all of the systems on Diego Garcia. And they obviously they wouldn't do that, but that is technically what the Chinese will say. Well, look, it's in our law, it's in our treaty with Mauritius. This is Mauritian land. It's that ceasefire Africa treaty or something like that. I say, highly recommend looking at Senator Kennedy's video. It explains it all in better detail than I ever could. But yeah, from there, the Chinese embassy. Nobody saw the Chinese embassy coming. Nobody talks about the super embassy right next to the American one. And if you look into this, the embassy runs over the exact cables that run into the American embassy and also the MI5 building. It's common knowledge. It's not even a conspiracy. So all it would take is a couple of tweaks, because In the Chinese embassy, if you look at the plans and you look at what's available to you, they would have had a basement room that would have been, for secrecy, and it would have literally ran a couple of feet away from those cables. And basically the idea is they would have used that to gain all our information. But also, what also ties into this? Digital ID. So when we've got all digital ID, the Chinese would have information on all of us, where we're going, our spending habits, everything else. They would be able to spy on each and every one of us. They would pass our information on to the government of all the people that are dissident, all the people that are speaking out against the government. And look, but before you know it, we're in socialist China. It's ridiculous. I mean, people turn around and call it communist China. Newsflash, people. The state owns everything. That makes it socialism, not communism. Not that I'm saying, I'm not sat here defending communism, obviously, but there we go. But yeah, so you look at it all, it's all entwined. Every single decision. And you know what? This pandering to Muslims, regardless, again, this is like one of my other videos, I'm going to say this, it's not an anti-Muslim video. But when you've got your own people snapping at the grass, you've got your own people not knowing where the next bill money is going to come from. You've got businesses closing down. Look, right now where am I at? I'm in Barnstable. I'm literally about to deliver to somewhere and I'm looking around me, and within the space of this high street, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is just solely from my cabin. 6 shops, all empty, all to let, because businesses can't work. Businesses are failing. All our main high street shops are failing. Look at Google. Google's a good tool to use for this. Google all your high street chains. See how many of them are actually making a profit. Clue: there's hardly any. They're in millions and millions of pounds of debt. They're millions of pounds of shortfalls, and we're going to lose them all because they're just ruining everything. And who's that going to benefit? Oh yes, the Chinese, because the Chinese will snap up all the buildings, implement all their cheap businesses, all their cheap things. They're even developing technology, and half of their appliances are there to spy on us, and they openly admit it. People that shop on Temu, Alibaba and all this kind of stuff, when you buy stuff from there, check it, open it up, have a look at the chips inside, see what you can recognise. It's all benefiting the Chinese. So yes, Keir Starmer is a Chinese spy, and he will not go, because people are, when's he going to go? When's he going to go? He will not go until the objectives of the Chinese government have been implemented. Mark my words, you'll see it. He will go, and I guarantee you, if you probably talk, I'm going to make a prediction here. It's going to tie in with the May elections. It's got an excuse to go, but between now and May, everything that needs to be put into place will be put in place for the Chinese government. I bet my life on it. There you go. Let me know what you think.